Russia has achieved its first major ground victory in Ukraine in about 9 months, and the Biden administration is awarding $1.5 billion to a semiconductor company in upstate New York. Good morning. I'm Corva Coleman from NPR News, and here are today's top stories. Russia says its troops have now established full control over a key town in Ukraine's eastern Donetsk region. As NPR's Charles Maynes reports from Moscow, it's the first major ground victory for Russian forces in nearly 9 months of fighting.
Russia's defense ministry said its forces have flushed out remaining Ukrainian fighters from the grounds of a Soviet-era factory in Avdiivka, ending one of the bloodiest sieges of the war in Ukraine to date. Control of Avdiivka provides Russia with a key military staging ground for additional advances into Ukrainian territories Moscow claims to have annexed but does not control. Ukraine's military said it ordered a retreat from Avdiivka to save troops both outnumbered and outgunned, as Western military aid has slowed. Russian President Vladimir Putin congratulated troops on their victory, one that gives a boost to the Kremlin leader ahead of March presidential elections in which he faces no real competition. Charles Maynes, NPR News, Moscow.
Meanwhile, Russian officials have not released the cause of death of opposition leader Alexei Navalny. He died last Friday at the Arctic Penal Colony where he was imprisoned. Former Republican Congresswoman Liz Cheney told CNN Russia's president is why Navalny died.
What Vladimir Putin did to Navalny is what retribution looks like in a country where the leader is not subject to the rule of law.
Navalny's mother and his lawyer are still trying to gain custody of his body. Officials in Minnesota are lowering state flags to half-staff in honor of 2 police officers and a firefighter killed near Minneapolis yesterday. They were responding to a domestic disturbance in a home with an armed suspect. A 3rd police officer was wounded. The suspect also died. There were 7 children in the home. They escaped without physical injury from the incident. The Biden administration says a semiconductor company in upstate New York is being awarded a grant of $1.5 billion. NPR's Asma Khalid reports the money is from a bill passed by Congress in 2022 to boost computer chip manufacturing in the U.S.
The company, Global Foundries, makes chips used in everything from cars to smartphones. It also partners with the military on chips used for national security. This $1.5 billion is expected to go towards a new facility and the renovation of 2 others in New York and Vermont. This funding is part of the $39 billion in the Chips and Science Act that's geared towards manufacturing incentives. And a component of it is expected to be used for job training. There have been concerns that despite the new semiconductor facilities being created, there may not be enough qualified workers to fill them. Asma Khalid, NPR News.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott says he's going to start construction of an 80-acre base in Eagle Pass. It's on the border with Mexico. Hundreds of Texas National Guard troops will be based there to stop migrants from illegally crossing the border. The Texas National Guard troops are also preventing U.S. Border Patrol troops from entering a park in Eagle Pass. The United Kingdom has held its ceremony for last year's Best in Films and TV. They're called the BAFTAs. Christopher Nolan's film Oppenheimer dominated the awards. As Willem Marx reports, it won 7 of its 13 nominations.
Among the awards for Oppenheimer were Best Film, Best Actor for lead Cillian Murphy, and Best Supporting Actor for Robert Downey Jr.
Why? How about because this is the most important thing to ever happen in the history of the world?
Its British director Christopher Nolan also scooped the top directing honour, thanking his cast and the film's financial backers given the dark nature of the subject matter, the creation of the atom bomb. Poor Things also performed well, winning 5 awards, including one for Best Actress by Emma Stone. The awards are often seen as possible predictors for success at next month's Oscars, though the judging audience for both ceremonies varies significantly. For NPR News, I'm Willem Marx.
I'm Corva Coleman, NPR News in Washington.